Back in July of 2024, my husband and I opened up our local game store here in rural Oregon with $15,000, and $8,000 of that was on credit cards when we decided we wanted to be open in about a month and we got impatient, and $7,000 of that was stuff we contributed from our day jobs up until that point, just kind of slowly over the course of, I think it was about 4 or so months before that we put into building it just when we had the extra time. When we started working on this project, we were both working multiple day jobs, and then on the side of that, we were also managing a vending business that we had started back in 2021. We had dropped out of college 3 times, I think, by that point, and we didn't really see much direction in life outside of the fact that we knew that a couple little claw machines had sparked in us a massive interest in entrepreneurship, and we wanted to do something more. While working our day jobs and putting this little space together, we spent a lot of quick trips and long nights just doing what we could to put that first 200 square foot store together. And when I think back, that was genuinely probably one of the brightest times in my life because it made me realize how much we were capable of when we put our heads together, even when everybody else thought we were completely crazy. We had a lot of people telling us in the beginning, mostly other shops, that it wasn't going to be possible to succeed with this venture with so little space and so little invested. We were told we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. We had people scoffing at our little inventory unboxings that we did here online because, of course, they were small. We were in a small shop. And generally, there was just a lot of people trying to discourage us from thinking that this was possible with so little at our disposal at the time. After about a month of being open, we decided to jump in full time. That means we went from 5 jobs between the two of us and a side hustle to completely relying on what we had built together. Honestly, with no real evidence that it would work, just a massive amount of faith that it would. And we were terrified. We had no idea how it was going to go. But we work best when we're stressed to death, I guess. And that decision added the pressure we needed to make sure we made this work. And we focused a lot on online sales in the beginning, kind of as a safety measure in the event that the storefront didn't do anything. Our town has quite the reputation for businesses opening and then closing shortly after, and we wanted to make sure we had as many legs to stand on as we could. However, it turned out that our storefront itself actually ended up doing really well. So while we still made sure we had those online sales in the event we needed the extra little oomph every month, we didn't find ourselves so much needing it as just wanting to be a good steward of what we had at the time and make sure we were making the most of it outside of just what our town could offer. In less than a year, our shop was bursting at the seams of that little 200 square foot space. And honestly, we didn't really have any plans to go out and get into a bigger space. We were kind of just under the impression of we're going to make this spot work for 3 or 4 years, and so long as it's working, what's the rush? That being said, in early 2025, we were presented with the opportunity to grow into what our dream space was that we had always hypothetically thought of. That being said, we didn't think it would become so quickly available. We weren't really ready, I think, mentally to move into a bigger space, but the numbers supported the idea of it, and we didn't really see the opportunity presenting itself again anytime soon. And so we made the move. It was 5 times the space to work with. We moved from a 200 square foot space to a 1,000 square foot space. And it was also only 2 doors down in the same building. So the move was pretty easy, all things considered. It meant that during that month that we were getting this space ready, Michael could run this other store, or I could run the other store, and then the other person could go paint or assemble shelves or do whatever else we needed. It was, honestly, it couldn't have worked out any better than it did. So again, it wasn't an opportunity we were seeking out, but it wasn't one we saw coming up a second time either anytime soon. So we jumped into that step without a fleshed out plan, just a lot of will to make it work. Since then, things have boomed. We had to make the very difficult decision this year to sell our first business because the shop was taking up so much of our time, and it was what we wanted to pour our time into. That second business, it just wasn't worth the stress that we were putting into it when we knew our time would be so much better spent working on this, something that was tangibly making a difference in our community. Online and in-shop sales have been flourishing. We have a wonderful network of other shops that we can learn from and lean on when we need the extra advice. And we've outlasted and outgrown what a lot of people told us was impossible in the beginning. If someone could only take one lesson away from our experience, I hope it's that small starts can still lead to massive progress in a short period of time. There are enough people in this world saying that things like this aren't possible, but we have seen firsthand what can be done when making it work isn't negotiable. You don't really know what's possible until you do it. We go out of our way to network with new shops in our area, honestly a lot more than we go out of our way to network with established shops in our area. One, because we've seen how some shops in our area treat those that are just coming into the industry, but also because we know what it's like to be new and terrified and have no idea what to do next, and have everybody around you kind of discouraging you from trying to grow rather than help point you in the right direction. And so it's really important to us that we're networking with new shops, and they're going to open anyways. I would rather see them open and try to help them be as successful as they can be, help them be a massively beneficial part of the community, than see them open and decide, I'm not going to have anything to do with you and your success is on you and I don't care what the community gets or doesn't get from you. It's very important to us that we're helping people navigate some of the same challenges that we faced when we were getting started. And it's one of the reasons that I ended up starting a Discord server called TCGpreneurs, and it was created with the aim to create a network of shops that have been there and done that and are willing to share what they know with people that are just getting started. We've met some wonderful connections through this Discord, and honestly, there's so many things that I don't think we would have ever learned or considered without reading some of the experiences that other shops have had. And it's been really great to see how many established shops are willing to step up and help other people get started, because we didn't really have very many good experiences with that in the beginning. We wanted to create a space where aspiring and new shop owners could learn transparently from those that had already navigated their first few years. And above all, it was really important to us to create a space where others can find encouragement if they're in a position in their life or in their area where there's not really a lot of people that are giving them that extra you can do this that so many people miss out on in their first couple of years of business. So with all that said, we're very happy with what life looks like these days. We're very happy with what the shop has done. It's very much obviously a work in progress, but it's come a long way from where we started. And while it is a work in progress, we're very proud of the progress we have made in such a short period of time. And we're excited to see what the next few years bring, because we don't know what that's going to look like, but we're pretty comfortable with the strides we've made in the meantime. And we're happy that we've been able to make those strides without sacrificing the desire to want to help other people do the same.